right, welcome back to the Leicester City Women's wrap-up show. We are back again, another day, another result. James is finally back with me. Welcome back, James.
Yay, you're right.
I'm good. How are you? You're on holiday. How was your vacation?
Wonderful weather. Came back, and then we lost. So it's what
I
it is.
mean, despite the fact that we lost today, I think today was probably the best we've performed all season.
I totally agree with that. From start to finish, they seem to have a different mentality. Back four looks solid, and we've said quite a few times this season that a back four is probably the way forward.
Mm-hmm.
Defensively, they were just unbelievable. And Kirsty Lavelle, yet again, who we talk about every single week on this show, she just gets better and better.
Yeah. I know she made that save with her face, but that was still an insane save. The fact how many people are able to stop Sam Kerr? She's got an insane foot, she's got insane speed, and Kirsty was able to keep her out. Kirsty was my man of the match. I have to give it to her. 100%.
Yeah, I think for me, when I was thinking about who stood out, I think her and Ash as well, both outstanding performances. But Kirsty's done it. She's been our player of the season so far, week in, week out. And I know we've not won. I know we've got no points on the board, but she's kept us in a few games this season. And I dread to think without her saves what the scorelines could have been.
Mm-hmm. Exactly. She's definitely kept us in a lot of results. Like you said, despite the fact we don't have points and we have conceded goals, she's been there every single game. She's kept us in there every single game. So, yeah, she's awesome. I think she was definitely the best keeper in the championship last season, and she's making more statements this season in the WSL, which is awesome. I'm glad she's back in the WSL.
Yeah, totally agree. Jimmy Skitz comes out with a good comment. Best defensive display of the season. Don't think the front two work as a pair. We have discussed this in the past that we don't think Flint and Siggy works well. It's either one or the other. But I think we're playing both to try and accommodate them both. Exactly. Put Devlin in as the extra CM when she's fit. She's unbelievable on the ball. She controls that midfield. And I think her pinging balls to Siggy or even Flint will get goals from. I just don't think the two work together very well as a pairing at the minute. And that could come with time, but I'm not sure how much time we've got with 0 points on the board.
Mm-hmm. I definitely find with those two, we see Flint dropping back a lot and Sigsworth running forwards a lot. And I'm wondering if we kind of switch those positions. Today, I felt like we were seeing Flint a bit more up top than Sigsworth, but nothing was getting to Flint. And I mean, that's because you're up against Chelsea. Of course, you're going to be wanting to sit back and defend. It's one of the best teams in the league. So it's going to be hard to attack a team like that. So, well, like you said, we might have to wait to see if like things kind of change up. I think they're still like kind of sorting things out, but in preseason we saw that they clearly worked out very well. So I'm wondering if we're going to see that transition even more further on in the league.
Yeah, I think right. Let's not forget Chelsea are one of the best teams in Europe. They're not easy to beat. We're held out for 80 odd minutes, which is a huge achievement. For me, the really positive out of today is how well we played as a team. In the past, we sometimes look a bit disjointed, but today they look strong. And they played so well together, especially the defence in the midfield. They played so well together. Huge shout to Shannon O'Brien, which we always talk about. I don't think she's trained much this week. And then to put in that performance at that kind of pace for 70 minutes is just a huge achievement. And as we said before the game, the bench didn't look the best. And maybe Sun's been put in there because we have got lots of injuries, but all credit to her the way she's been playing recently as well. She seems to be bringing everything she can to this league.
Absolutely. Yeah. She's always on fire. Always a player that's super entertaining to watch. So, but yeah, like you said before, Chelsea is one of the best teams in Europe and we kept them out for 80 minutes. That's so impressive. I know people are going into this game thinking Leicester's just going to be smashed because it's Chelsea. But sitting there, it was like we could end up getting a point out of Chelsea. And like, how crazy would that be to get our first point off of Chelsea? But of course, one of the best teams in Europe, they were bound to put one in at some point. So, but the fact that we kept them out for so long, that today was by far the best performance we've seen all season.
Yeah, totally agree with it. Defensively, we just looked so solid at the back. amazing pairing with Ash and Abby. I thought they both played so well together, and they seemed to read the game quite well together. Like they knew where each one was. I've seen a few comments online about can the men borrow Ash next weekend because it's international tutor. But yeah, I think overall the defense was solid. They played so well together and seemed to work well together. I think that's a credit. I think the disappointing thing for me is no shots on target. But then, was I expecting any against a team like Chelsea? They were always going to pin us back because of the quality they've got in their team.
I think any team similar to Leicester just coming up from the championship, of course they're going to sit back and they're going to park a bit against Chelsea. I mean, I wouldn't be going full out attack, especially with the substitutions that Chelsea brought on. They brought on Pernille Harder, Sam Kerr, like their bench was crazy. So I would have just, all their options were attacking. So I would have sat back and wanted to defend as well. And yes, you got our stats up there. Chelsea had 16 corners today, which is the highest amount of corners ever in a WSL game. So we're breaking records, I guess.
Not the kind of record you want to break. But no, it just shows. I just wanted to put this up about. We had 4 shots, but all off target. I think our shooting's not been the best this season compared to last season, and I think it'll come. Like Jimmy said, maybe it's because we're playing a front 2 and we need that probably one up front. I think tackles 83.3% just shows how great our defense was.
Yeah.
Aerial duels is always a difficult one. 7 saves. Let's talk about the saves. Let's talk about the point blank one. Yes, she saved it with her face, but she was there. She knew where the ball was going. She read the header so well, and it was just a magnificent save. Where if you look at probably other goalkeepers might not have had that position in, but she's done this time and time again this season. She's always been there. She's always stands tall. She's a bit like Schmeichel. She always stands tall and trying to protect the goal at all costs. And I think once in a while you get these goalkeepers that come along that are magnificent and star players, and I think she is becoming that star player for us at the minute.
Absolutely. I mean, she got the Golden Glove last season, and it's showing why she did even this season. So, I mean, she was just really good today. I find Kirsty is really good every single game. She stands out every single game. Even if we concede, she's still an amazing goalkeeper. And I saw so much praise for her today online, and I was so happy about that because it's like people don't see Leicester. People don't look at Leicester very much. And today, so many people were watching us because we were playing up against Chelsea. And we were on TV as well. So people were watching. And people are praising her so much, and that's just amazing because she deserves that praise. Her and Ashley and Abby as well. So much praise for them. It's amazing.
Yeah, I think it was. I think as a whole they played well. They seemed to help each other out a lot more in attack as well as defence. Yes, Chelsea had 72% possession, which they were always going to get because of the players they've got. They've got some great teams. Frank Kirby. Obviously, they've got a Canadian. I've heard that it's not bad either.
Jessie Fleming, man of the match. I'm not mad about that whatsoever. I'm happy with that. If there's any Chelsea player to get that, I'm glad it was Jessie. She was crazy today too. I have to give her credit there. For a player that's not played every single game, she was phenomenal today.
Yeah, I think a lot of the Chelsea players were, and I think it just shows how good we actually were because the Chelsea they just drew 3-3 with Wolfsburg in the Champions League, which we dream of playing one day, and hopefully we will. But they're top of the league. Well, they were top. I think Arsenal are top now, aren't they? Because I think
I don't think they are top. Arsenal's top.
Arsenal's top to be Everton. So they're kind of teams that you'd want to beat, but they're kind of teams that you probably this season we were like they're bonus games rather than the proper games that you're probably looking at. Your Readings, your Birmingham's, the ones you want to win. These are like bonus games. But we went out there and we just wasn't scared. Jonathan's always talking about how fearless we were. No, we weren't fearless. We just looked at it as another game, and I think that did us well. If we'd have gone in there and they were scared, they could have scored a hatful against us. But we weren't. We took it by the scruff of its neck. Defense did exactly what they needed to do, and I think everyone did a good job today out there.
Yeah, absolutely. And I'm seeing Jimmy saying, "Poor Chelsea. How do they cope with only 5 Ballon d'Or nominees?" Yeah. It's a phenomenal team. They're an outstanding team. So, and you mentioned, we've got sides like Birmingham, Reading, and we're up against Chelsea. And we've got Everton next. And looking at the table right now, we're bottom of the table. We're, as of now, with Birmingham's score, I believe they're still winning 1-0. They're sitting at about 11th, I believe, and Reading won today. So that means we're, as of now, the only team without any points. But what's really crazy to me is that we're only 4 points behind Man City, and we don't have a single point.
No.
To me, that's insane. But yeah.
Yeah, exactly.
It's bound to come. The point's coming at some point. And like I said just now, we have Everton next. And Everton are being exposed left, right, and center by everyone. If there's anyone we can get that point off of, I strongly believe it's Everton. But that's not for like another 3.5 weeks.
Yeah, Everton game, I think it's around the 3rd of November.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, it is a long time away. And then obviously we've got City after that. And I think that's the tough start out the way. Then we then go obviously away to Brighton. Things start to get a lot easier, I think. And they're the kind of games you need to start picking the points up. Man City, when we played them in the cup, I didn't think we were good at all, if I'm honest. But like you say, Everton. I think Everton, one of the teams where we spoke about pre-season, we thought they'd do really well.
I think everyone was saying that they do really well. And then, is my connection gone? Am I frozen, or is it just you?
Can you hear me? I think it's just me.
Okay, it's just you. Okay. I wasn't sure if it was my Wi-Fi that was gone down. But yeah, I think a lot of people were saying Everton's a dark horse because in the transfer window, Everton was making moves. And so they were bringing in people that fans were expecting to create this amazing team that'll challenge for top 4. And now they're just not doing that. So I genuinely think that we can get a point off of Everton. If not, it's coming. The points are coming. We're not going to go the entire season without a point. Like, it's coming, and I think Everton is that chance. Otherwise, we can challenge these sides like Birmingham, Reading, go up again against West Ham, see what happens. Because the league is so unpredictable right now. West Ham, they showed up against us. They beat us 4-0. And now they're losing to Birmingham, who have yet to win a game this season or take any points at all. And then we've got sides like Spurs, who just lost to Brighton. So it's so unpredictable. And now we're stepping up. And if you look at our last few results, yes, we lost 4-0 to West Ham, followed by 6-0 to Man City. But then against Spurs, it was 2-0. And then up against Chelsea, it's 2-0. So we're seeing progression. We're seeing improvement. And the change is coming. The points are coming. And it's only going up from here. That's what I'll leave it at.
No, I think you're right. I think today proves that. Yes, you got beat, but there's so many positives that came out of today. I think today might be the turning point because they seem to have a lot more confidence. Even when we went 1-0 down, in the past, we've gone 1-0 down and we seem to kind of look down and go, well, how are we going to do this? How are we going to do this? But today they went 1-0 down and still started to fight. And I think that's huge mentality for me, that they're still fighting, they still want to win. And I think going forward, this is going to be a huge turning point in our season. I hope no one's going to prove me wrong, but I think this is going to be the turning point.
Yeah, I 100% agree. I think that us showing up against Chelsea, of all teams, that really showed something. And I know some people are going to say, well, Chelsea weren't using their main team, but those are still phenomenal players that were out there. And then they did bring out their main team at one point. So the fact that we showed up against them and challenged them for those 83 minutes, I think that says a lot. And I genuinely think that Everton's going to be a good one. I'm not sure if we have Brighton in the League Cup beforehand, but otherwise we have Everton in the league. I don't know schedules. This whole 3-week international break is way too long, so that's all I know.
Yeah, I think you're right. I think the Brighton game's middle of November. I might be wrong. Don't quote me on that.
Yeah.
But yeah, I think today's just been magnificent for me. I kind of wasn't expecting it, but I'm so glad that it came. I know that sounds really
Mhm.
weird. I'm so glad that it happened because I think the last games we've seen, you've looked at it, and I think me and you have been talking a lot, as well as Joe from the sports club, that we need to go 4-4-2, and it happened today, and we
Mhm.
feel a lot more solid, and I think it's the way forward.
Yeah.
Um, I think what we probably need to do now is go with that four at the back, but then start a different midfield and go with one at the front, maybe play a false nine behind, or play that number 10 role, which
Mhm.
Charlie Devlin can play, and how good she is at it.
Yeah. It's just really brutal that we have so many injuries happening right now. Like, I feel like Leicester is a club that's constantly hit with injury crisis. Is I don't know how to say that plurally, but both sides are always hit with these injury crisis. And I'm doing it again. I can't figure out how to say it. Everyone knows what I'm trying to say, but it just seems inevitable for us, So, and it was interesting to see that Shannon has picked up this injury, but she was playing today. So I'm really curious as to kind of what's going on behind the scenes there, because Jonathan mentioned in the past that Charlie was injured, but he still put her on the bench against West Ham to have her as a threat. So I'm just kind of trying to understand the level of injuries that we have, but the ones for sure are definitely LaShante Paul and Sophie Barker, and I hope they recover quickly and like smoothly, but it's confusing.
Yeah, I think you're right. I think you're trying to say that we're injury prone at the minute. I might be wrong.
Yes, that one. We're going through an injury crisis is what I was trying to say.
Um, but yeah, I think you get a full squad back and it's a lot better. Yes, Shannon played 70 minutes today and did an outstanding job. I don't think she's had a bad game this season, if I'm honest. She just gets better and better. Um,
Mhm.
and I know that she said to me in the week that this is just the beginning for her.
Yeah.
I think she's right. She'll get so much better. If you can get Charlie back in, she's that midfield that I think we're really, really missing at the minute.
Mhm.
One that can sit in that midfield and put the balls around and be that creative mind in that midfield.
Yeah.
And even maybe her playing might unlock Sigsworth and Flint together. But for
Yeah.
me, I think we're better off with one up front. If I'm perfectly honest, a bit like we do with the men's, we always play Vardy up front. I think Flint's that kind of player that thrives on that. Although Flint's amazing at holding the ball up, I'm just
Mhm.
not sure that her and Sigsworth have been connecting that well at the minute.
Yeah. I feel like it's a matter of trial and error. You have to kind of try things out before you see what'll work, and I'm not sure when they'd want to do that, but it looked like Sigsworth might have picked up an injury or something. I'm hoping she's okay, but we might end up seeing just Flint up top because I'm not sure who else would be able to join besides PBG, and possibly move Kane back up into that winger position. She seemed to have been playing really far back today. That may have just been me, but Kane was like in the back a lot, it seemed like.
Yeah, I think she was, but I think it's because it was Chelsea. You probably need
Yeah.
that backup in there.
Everyone was far back.
I think everyone played a lot deeper than I've seen them play in a long time, and I think you have to against Chelsea.
Mhm.
If you go all out against Chelsea, they're just going to punish you,
Yeah.
as they try to all game. But I think Hannah Kane's another one. We all know the story of a horrific injury that she came back from, and she seems to be just getting better and better and better as well.
Mhm.
And like you say, her on the wing, um, and I think them wingers work well. It's just playing it in the right formation. So I think
Yeah.
next game will be interesting to see who plays and what kind of formation they play. Because to me, we're outstanding today. Probably a few tweaks that would help you going forward.
Yeah. I'm hoping that we stick with that 4-4-2. I find it works really great compared to the what was it, the 3-5-2-1, or no, the 3-5-2. I can't do math apparently. The 3-5-2. So I'm hoping that we stick with this 4-4-2 and we don't end up going back and forth with it again. So, because we saw that last season, we saw us kind of go back and forth with formations for a little bit, but I think this is the one we could stick with. If not, we can always try uh the I can't even think right now. The the other formation we did last season. What would it have been? A 4-3-2-1? Is my math right there? I think so.
Yes.
Yes, there we go. The 4-4-2 or 4-3-2-1 seemed to work out really well for us last season. I was up at 5:30 for the game, and I've been up ever since. So my brain cells are not present at the moment. But I've received confirmation here. I've officially Googled it. We do have Everton in the League Cup up next. I got it mixed up with the men having Brighton in the Cup. So thank you for everyone that clarified in the comments for me to double check. Like I said, I'm all over the place right now. But today was crazy is all I'm going to say. Today was a really great result despite the fact that we lost. I think it was a really good performance.
Yeah, I think so as well. From the back forwards, they all played well. They all did the jobs. They all did the right jobs. For me, I can't single anyone out that had a bad game. I think they all played well together. And for me, the first time today since the start of the season, that sisterhood is back that we saw last season, helping each other out, doing the runs together, making sure everyone knows where they are. And that to me is back. And that's why this is our turning point in this season. Defensively sound, midfield and attack, probably sound today. Probably need to do a bit more going forward to punish more teams quicker. Although we had 4 shots, they were all off target. I think one of the things we've not done this season, we've not been clinical in our finishing. If we can improve that, then I think this season's going to be good, and this is our turning point.
Absolutely. I'm just looking at the comments now, seeing this one. I think it's Austin. I recognize the username. Getting result defensively, we deserved a point. 2-0 was not a fair scoreline. I think that, yeah, the result is a bummer, and we were amazing defensively. And yes, a point would have been amazing, but Chelsea is such a strong side that I feel like that goal was coming at any point with how much we were having to sit back as well. But yeah, I wish we had a point. I think we deserved a point out of it, but like we keep saying, it's Chelsea. That's hard. It's hard to get a point out of a team like Chelsea. So, yeah, we're seeing change. We're seeing progression. We're seeing improvement. And it's just really good that we're seeing this.
Yeah. And going into the season, we wouldn't have expected a result against Chelsea. Yes, we're unbeaten last season, but we're not the same team this season. There's a lot more teams out there who have bought a lot of players and are, let's be honest, a lot better than us. So I think this season was always ours. Kind of let's settle ourselves in the WSL. Let's stay. I was hoping around mid-table. Let's stay in there. The next season will grow and grow and grow. So I think today is huge that we've managed to do this. Defensively, there were just. I think in the past, I think we've all spoke about how defensively we've not been the best the last few games, and to me, it's a complete change around. We've been great defensively. We just need to start attacking more. And I think, yes, today was a gutting result, but you can't expect to win games if you don't shoot on target. And that to me is what we need to start doing now, is just getting the goals in.
Yeah, exactly. We need the goals to get the points. You nailed it. It's exactly that. But you mentioned that, we are new to the WSL. So I think that I'm guilty of this, forgetting that this is our first season in the top division. So of course there's so many standards put on Leicester and there's so many people watching us, not just only because we have the name Leicester City, but the fact that we are these new guys, we are these newly promoted team. And so many people are predicting that we get that mid-table finish at the end of the season or to just finish outside of that relegation zone. So I think a lot of us put such high standards on them. And I'm so guilty of it, like I said before, like so guilty because we had so many wins last season. I think so many people are expecting us going into this, we're just going to storm the WSL, no problem. But, it's a hard league. We've got these hard challengers like Chelsea, like Man City, and they're going to be putting up fights. And now we're putting up those fights as well. And we clearly saw that today. So like you were saying, we need to score those goals. But today we saw that adjustment defensively. We kept them out. We didn't concede 6. We were able to keep Chelsea back. And we had moments where we kind of pushed them, but we weren't able to get those shots on target. So we've landed the defense. Now we just move into that attacking area. And then once we kind of glue it all together, it'll be good. It's just getting better. I keep saying that, but we're seeing so much improvement.
Yeah, and I think it's good. I think, like you say, it's progression. You don't want to see them decline. And it has been difficult mentally. When you start leaking goals that we've been leaking, your head starts to drop and you don't really want to be there anymore. But I think today, mentally, they were all there and all sound. We got better and better. And I think that's key to the way we play and what we're doing behind the scenes. A few weeks ago, we spoke to Heskey, and he was telling us how good the stuff they're doing behind the scenes is going. And I think it's been magnificent to see the way they're being coached. And mentality today was spot on for me.
Yeah. And speaking of Heskey, he was shown on the bench so many times. I don't know if it was the same over on the Sky stream, but over here, they just kept showing him, and I don't think he moved the entire game. He was just watching peacefully, and then I saw a tweet at the end saying that he carried out everyone's water at the end. And people would have never expected to see Emil Heskey carrying water for the women's team. So it's great to see that he's been promoted to that position. Head of women's football development is great for him. We've spoken with him. He has the passion, and not only is he qualified for the position, but he loves this club. This is his club as well. So I think it's just going to go really well, and he's going to help make some change and just continue growing the women's team as well as the club have been doing.
Yeah, totally agree. I think he was on Sky yesterday for the Manchester derby, so he's doing a lot of work at the minute. But yeah, behind the scenes, they're doing so much work to help us. Not just at the academy. The academy's started this year, I think, and it's growing and growing and growing. And I know that in the future, we're looking at getting a few people from the academy on, just so we can help promote that side of the game. Because as when we spoke to Heskey, it was key that side is where the club wants to develop as well, and grassroots is where all that sits. So we'll help the club as much as we can, as we have done in the past.
Yeah, absolutely. 100%. We're here, we're there, we're everywhere. We're helping out. So do you have any final words, James? I feel like we were probably able to wrap it up. We've said that everything was really good today, probably 100 times. I think it was just a really great day.
Yeah, two things for me. Firstly, difficult person of the match. I would say man of the match, but I'm not sure I'm allowed to these days. The person of the match, I would say either Ash or Lavelle. Probably Lavelle. Her saves were amazing.
Mm-hmm.
I'll let you do your bit before I do the last bit.
What's my bit?
Any last thoughts?
Oh, I was like, do we have a script? Yeah, I have to give it to Lavelle as well for that man of the match. She kept us in there. She made that incredible save, but she's been outstanding every single game for me personally. So she's getting my man of the match today. But like you mentioned, Ash as well. She was a wall at the back, and she was just phenomenal as well. So this is a tricky one, but I'm going to have to give it to Kirsty, the same as you. So, and Chelsea was a tough fight. So I have to give props to all the players for Leicester who put up that fight. It was really entertaining to watch. I was on the edge of my seat. So props to them. It was a really amazing performance today, and I just cannot wait to see where it goes from here.
That's good. Last thing I just wanted to say was Wednesday night this week is the FCAs. I don't know if we've really spoke about this. We have been nominated for an award in the FCAs, which is a Football Content Awards, if anyone's not aware of them. We're in the final for the best women's stuff that me and Hannah do. Unfortunately, Hannah can't fly. And I'm away with work. So Neil's from our team is going to go on our behalf. Neil, I love that because he'll be smooching with all the right people. So I just want to say that thanks to everyone that's voted for us. We're unbelievable support we've had getting there. Cannot believe that we actually got nominated and we're in the final. I think for me, if we got top 3, it'd be unbelievable. Because if you see the people that are in there, I think there's a Chelsea team, the Man United, All United, I think they're in that award as well. So fingers crossed we get there. If we don't, I won't be disappointed because it's just an unbelievable achievement to be nominated. But if we don't, we'll go again next season. Hope we get nominated again. So my last thoughts are: wish us luck for Wednesday night. I'll have our fingers crossed. Hopefully, if we do win, Neil will do a good speech.
Pressure's on Neil.
Yes. Any last thoughts from you, Hannah, on that?
Yeah, thank you so much for voting for us to get us nominated, and then to continue voting for us to get us in the finals is amazing. Humongous achievement. Like James said, if we don't win or we don't get that top 3, the fact we were still nominated is crazy. It's an award show and we're in it. That's just amazing to me. I'll be watching the live stream. I'm sure James probably will be as well, since I can't fly, he can't. he can't do it because he can't do it. So thank you so much to everyone who voted for us. We really appreciate your support. Everyone who comes into the comments as well, you really help make the conversation flow a lot easier, and you help give us ideas as we go. So thank you so much for everything you guys do. I'm going to do the little plugs now. Her Game Too is a great campaign. I'm mixing up words in my head. Are a great campaign helping promote safety and promotion of women's sport as well as women in sport. Menfeast is a great charity, so check out everything they do over on their socials. And we're super excited to be teaming up with them to do some amazing projects this year. So keep your eyes out for all of that stuff. And the Leicester City Women's Supporters Club, if you're watching the show and you still haven't joined, you're behind. Get in on the Supporters Club. Head over to their Twitter. I believe there's a link to sign up there. You can get a membership. Lots of stuff planned this season with them. So yeah, thank you again to everyone for all the support and for keeping up with us. Thank you, James, for constantly setting things up. We're going to have a thumbnail on this video for once because James is taking care of it and not me. I never know how to do it. So, yeah, thank you so much, everyone.
Yeah, thanks again. Just one word about Memphis. Keep your eye on the channel. We are doing a big Leicester City Women's thing later on this year with the help of some of the players. So keep your eye out for that. It will be really good. And we're really looking forward to it. Thanks, everyone. And we'll talk to you again soon.